Hi there, my name is Grace Benjaminson from the University of Waterloo Arts faculty, and this is Landon Jennings, a University of Waterloo Arts alumnus. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Would you mind telling me a little bit about yourself and your connection to the Faculty of Arts?
Yeah, of course. So to start, I am a dual alumnus. I call myself a dual alumnus of the University of Waterloo, and in the Faculty of Arts as well. So I did my undergraduate degree, graduated back in 2017 from the Arts Business program with a major in legal studies, minor in sociology. And then I graduated from the master's degree in sociology back in 2019.
Very nice. And what made you choose Waterloo Arts?
It's kind of a funny story. When I saw this question, I was kind of laughing at it because I knew I'd get into my story about how I didn't really choose arts initially. But when I first actually applied to the University of Waterloo, I was actually accepted into a program in the environment faculty called Environment and Business. So I actually did a full year of that program. And then when I was in my second year, the program got a little bit more specific for what I thought I wanted to do and where my interests were at the time. So I went to my advisor and they had said, this happens to a lot of people once you get into your second, sometimes third year. But what's good about this is that you can utilize a lot of your business courses and start taking electives in different areas to try to figure out what you want to do. So I spent a lot of my second year in my first semester trying to kind of navigate different courses in arts to figure out what I wanted to specialize in. And well, I did that. I figured my passion towards, and I discovered my passion towards like law, sociology, that type of work, and working with people. And so I was able to transfer into the legal studies program. I think it was second semester or maybe third semester of my second year. And that brought me to the Faculty of Arts. Absolutely loved the arts program. It was great. Felt like I had a lot of diversity in the type of coursework and areas that I was able to learn in. I was kind of able to pick and choose different things that I wanted while still having that business portion of my degree, which I think was really, really helpful moving forward in discovery of what type of career that I wanted to do.
Very nice. And you came back for your master's, you said too?
Yep.
Nice, nice. So how do you think that the program that you took in Waterloo helped you with your career path now?
Kind of a funny question. I would say that my journey was a little bit different because I always thought that I wanted to be a lawyer or in the legal field of some sort. But I actually ended up not even close to being in that field. I guess I'm working with people, but I'm a fundraising professional. And I've been doing that for about 4 years now. So I think for me that the journey of doing my master's degree and doing the co-op program is what kind of brought me into the field that I am today, because my very first position was the campaign coordinator for the United Way campaign at the University of Waterloo. And then from there, I was kind of able to build a lot of connections through that co-op program and that placement and discover my love for fundraising. And I've been in the industry ever since. So oftentimes that is a question that people ask, like, what kind of skills do you have that you learned in your programs? And I think for me, it was, I think, a more so a reflection of my final years, like my final like third and fourth year, and then into my master's degree, when you get to face people and do presentations and write larger papers and do research, because those are the type of things that I actually do in my everyday work now, which I feel like I was able to hone those skills a little bit more during the latter part of my arts degree for undergraduate and then during my master's degree.
That's amazing. So you said that you were admitted into the co-op program, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your favorite co-op experience, and what advice could you give to other people in your program who are also in co-op?
So I would say co-op's a really, really good experience. So I'm gonna backpedal a little bit with this question. So I had the opportunity to do co-op during my undergraduate degree, and I actually chose not to. And that was actually more so a reflection of me not knowing exactly what I wanted to do. And honestly, finding the co-op process to be really, really stressful for a first year student. I remember the pressure of like everyone's writing their final exams and you're like checking your phone to see if you got a job or the amount of interviews that you had at that time. And it was really, really stressful. So I decided like I didn't want to be part of that. I thought it was too much. And I chose to work part-time and do volunteer work instead. And for me, I felt like I got a lot of really useful skills in different sectors by being able to especially volunteer in different areas. Um, During my master's degree, I think the co-op program was particularly useful, and I think I can speak for a lot of people who took the co-op program in their masters, is that it really, really helped you kind of navigate a career and land your first job outside of school. So I thought I was able to get those kind of like hard skills that people are looking for, build connections, network with people, and then it really, really honestly helped me so much land my first job, which was great.
That's amazing. For someone who's trying to find their first co-op job placement, or just job placement after university, what are some tips that you would give them?
After university?
Yeah.
Okay, so I am a huge advocate for utilizing the resources at the Career Center.
Hmm.
So I discovered it, I think, during like my third year of university, where I was like, we have all these free resources. Like, why is nobody using them? So I used all their appointments. Like I would go there to like visit career advisors. They kind of like helped me navigate different paths that I could take because I knew I no longer wanted to go to law school. And then I was able to utilize like resume critiquing services to like change my resume in different styles. And I thought that was really, really helpful. Um, and then, yeah, it was just, I think my advice for anyone would be to utilize those services that are available to you while you're in your programs and while you're still in co-op. So we constantly have presentations, and I'm sure you see it too as a co-op student, of like, these are resources that we have at the Career Center, and oftentimes people brush them off. But like, honestly, like utilize them while you can, because they can really, really help you like have building blocks for your career. Um, and then finding a first job, I mean, I think that being able to learn how to write my resume properly and tailor my resume towards jobs and write a good cover letter, I think that was helpful. But I think it's always good to like use LinkedIn and understand LinkedIn and network with others and make connections, because oftentimes that's how you're gonna land your first job. Like you might have met someone or connected with someone during your co-op program or co-op experiences, and they might be posting a job, and so you can kind of tap them on the shoulder and say like, I'm looking for work, like would you mind taking my resume to the person who's hiring? And I have done that before. So I think utilizing those connections are really key too.
Once you graduated, what advantages did Waterloo experience give you that made you stand out over the other competitors?
Yeah, I mean, I would say everybody likes a Waterloo degree. I mean, there's no lie to that.
Hmm.
Um, it's true. So a lot of people do look at that and like they know you went to a good school, so it's good. And I think, I mean, I say that because I like Waterloo, but I've seen employers say that. But we do have good universities and colleges here in the region too,
Hmm.
um, and people like that. They like to keep their talent within the region, right? So
Hmm.
that's helpful. Um, and I think for me, like co-op always stands out too, because when they see that you've been part of this like world-renowned program, because the University of Waterloo does have a world-renowned co-op program, they know that they're breeding good candidates for the workplace after. So I think that's kind of a good add-on to your resume and something good that you can talk about as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. What would you say is the most memorable part of the University of Waterloo? And what are like some memories of being an art student that you remember most?
Yeah, I absolutely loved being a part of U Waterloo Arts, and that's why I'm fortunate I still stay connected to our alumni network like Phoebe, and she's great. And I love being able to volunteer and stay connected, because to me, it was kind of like a place of home. I absolutely loved being there all the years that I was there. Um, I think it's everything, but I think one piece of advice that I can give, especially for students who are just starting off, like first or second year, like get involved. Because the more involved that I was on campus, around campus, the more that I felt connected to the university. So for me, when I was, by the time I graduated, I had like been like part of our legal studies society, and I was like, I ended up being our like vice president of education in that society, and I was like advocating for policy changes and stuff like that. And I was our executive editor of our journal and volunteering in different capacities on and off campus and getting to know the professors. And I just felt so much more connected to the university and by being so involved, that even to this day, like when I drive by the university, I'm like, I love that place. Like I love it there. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
remember when I first joined first year, that was the first thing that the tour guide told me, is to get involved in university.
Yeah, it really does change your experience. And like it's anything, but like learn what you like too. Like don't just like get involved in something for the sake of getting involved, but like try things. Like there's so many clubs and societies. So I think it was like my third year something that I finally decided to go to that like club fair with one of my friends, and we were like, wow, like there's so many different things that we can do here to meet people and get involved at campus. And once we started doing that, it was such a good experience. So I'm happy I did that, and I'm really grateful for my experience at U Waterloo.
Nice. So who were some important connections you made at Waterloo that helped your career path and helped you grow to be the person that you are today?
Wow, I would say tons.
Mm.
So for me, like I teetered a lot between staying in academia, after my master's degree and actually having a career. So I had made really good connections with professors. I was a good student on campus, and also just the people that I met during my co-op experience. But again, I wasn't like a student who just kind of like put my head down and like did the work they told me to, but I tried to innovate, ask questions, do different things. And then from there, I was able to develop really good connections. And I think for me, I was really fortunate that I developed such good connections on both spheres. So at one point, I was teetering between like staying in the fundraising field or going back to school and going back to doing more like research type work. And I had connections in both areas, and I had mentors to speak to in the industries to be able to figure out what I wanted to do. So I think that's super key, is just like staying connected to people.
Yeah. And what are your future plans? What's next for you? And have they changed from when you were a first year student, which I'm guessing yes, since you were in the environment faculty?
Yeah, of course. So right now, so I'm fairly happy being a fundraising professional, even though it was a jump from what I thought I wanted to do, which was be a lawyer. So that dream has sailed for me, and I've accepted that, and I'm finally okay with that. But I think that took a couple years, and I think that as students are leaving and trying out different careers, it happens too. Like you have this depiction of who you thought you were going to be or what career you thought you were going to have, and oftentimes you end up kind of falling into things. But right now, like I'm hoping like 5 years from now, I am going to be a certified fundraising professional. I'm hoping I can be like a manager in some sort of capacity at an organization. I like the institutional type fundraising where I'm working in nonprofits, but I'm also connected very closely to the institutions. And I certainly hope that one day I'll be back working in advancement at the University of Waterloo. I love that place. I tell everybody I'll be back one day. So
Yeah. That's amazing. If you could go back and tell your first year self something, what would that be?
Ooh, good question. Interesting question. Okay, I would say two things. One of which is don't get so caught up in like trying to figure out what you want to be in that first year. If you take all of your experiences throughout the years, you're going to learn, you're going to grow as you move forward in your journey at the University of Waterloo throughout all the 4 or 5 years that you're there. And you're going to come up with some sort of solution of what you're happy with the career path that you choose. So don't get so caught up in this is what I have to be, this is what I came for. And the other thing is get involved. Makes a way better experience when you're involved.
Yeah, perfect. Is there anything you miss in particular about being a student on campus here?
Let me think. I would say I loved being on campus. I love the atmosphere. I love the academic setting. I love being there. It's always going to be a place that I would consider home. So there's not really any particular aspect that I miss. The community in general, I really enjoyed, and I think will always have a soft place in my heart.
That's so lovely. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Landon. I appreciated you coming here and sharing your words of wisdom with me. And yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day.